Well, the devastating situation in D.C. has only added to what's already been a chaotic week in the nation's capital. Joining me now is Illinois Congressman from the 6th District, Sean Casten. And Congressman, for those who don't know, that covers parts of Southwest Chicago and the southwest suburbs. I appreciate you being with me this morning.
Good morning.
Congressman, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the crash in D.C. I know your colleague, Senator Tim Kaine, earlier mentioned that he is working to find out if any of his constituents were on that flight. Have you heard if anyone from your district or the Chicago area was on board?
I've not at this point heard of any constituents, but you know, what are the numbers at 28 people who've lost their lives that are confirmed at this point. I think every member of Congress, we fly that approach flight every time we come into DC. And you know, part of being in DC is you're always aware that there's this heavy commercial traffic. There's always a heavy, you know, military traffic, you know, helicopters taking off from the White House. You sort of take it for granted. It's a complicated airspace. I think all of our hearts are completely broken, and all of us are wondering what went wrong, because this is not the way the system is supposed to work.
And certainly there have been many leaders, elected officials, the Secretary of Transportation, all talking this morning about how those answers will be forthcoming, hopefully, you know, in the next days and weeks, of course, as the NTSB gets involved in that investigation. Now, we initially wanted to bring you on today to talk to you about the freeze on federal funds that the president enacted earlier this week. It was blocked by a judge until a hearing Monday, and then most of it was rescinded. Exactly who's impacted now? And is it anyone or any group in your district?
Well, first, let's understand that there are huge numbers of funds that have been blocked, partially rescinded, and it's unclear. The White House is not at all clear what they're saying. They're saying they rescinded the memo, but they didn't rescind the order. It is extreme uncertainty right now, and I think we have to understand the Trump White House as essentially treating the American people the way, you know, an abusive partner would treat a domestic violence victim. They are trying to keep us off balance. They suspended foreign aid payments. That's still suspended. They suspended money for all sorts of DEI and civil rights enforcement provisions. Those are still suspended. They suspended payments for the Inflation Reduction Act dealing with climate change. Those are still suspended. The big one that they suspended on top of all that was said we're basically going to block about $3 trillion a year in annual spending. That's roughly 12% of the U.S. economy. That sent panics through the entire economy. In our district, talking to homeless shelters who said all of a sudden the HUD portal's closed. We heard J.B. Pritzker, our governor, saying that Medicaid portals were closed. So all of a sudden, people who depended on, maybe you're someone living in Little City up in Schaumburg who depends on Medicaid payments to make sure that you have a house and food and your family depends on those payments. That was shut down. That is temporarily reopened until Monday. But the White House said, their statement yesterday said that they are still going to pursue that in the courts. This is all hugely illegal. Congress has the power of the purse. It is hugely unconstitutional. And, this is how you break America. And they are counting on people not pushing back. Every time people don't push back, they become more emboldened.
So, Congressman,
and we've got to stand up for what's right here.
Who is going to push back? I mean, what does Congress do? I mean, what is the next step then? Not by the administration, but by perhaps Congress, if indeed this is illegal.
Well, let's be very clear. Our founders fully contemplated the possibility of a despot who would violate the Constitution in the executive branch. Our founders created checks on that in the courts and in the House, and we have tools up to and including impeachment to address someone who is violating their constitutional oath. If, on the other hand, we say, well, only the Speaker of the House has the ability to compel the start of that process, and the Speaker of the House, in Bruce Springsteen's words, is like a dog who's been beat too much and spends half his life just covering up. He is not brave enough to stand up to Donald Trump. That is a partisan question, but it's not a question about whether the House has the authority, and I would argue the constitutional obligation to push back on this. For those of us who take our oath seriously, we're going to do everything we can in our power. But this cannot be a partisan issue to defend democracy.
Well, yeah, and I
The
mean,
fact that it is scary.
and there's so many people who agree with you, and then there are a lot of your colleagues who may, of course, not agree with you on this matter. So much to unpack, and we hope we can continue this conversation in the future, especially after Monday. But I want to thank you, Congressman Sean Casten, for joining me this morning, and I know you will be waiting to learn more, too, about that devastating crash in the D.C. area as the day continues. Thank you again.
Thank you.